Hello, hustlers. Thank you for taking a moment of your time to join me. Welcome to What to Sell on Amazon. On this channel, we focus on all things selling on Amazon using the arbitrage business model. And as you can see, we have a special guest with us today that was willing to lend her precious time for your benefit because we're going to be talking about virtual assistants. That's going to be a huge topic, and you're going to be interested in that if you're considering hiring some outside help. And so let's just dive right in. First of all, I want to say welcome to our wonderful guest. She is a working class hustler for sure. She's also one of our working class hustler panelists. So you may have seen her, the lovely Miss Sarah Mack. Say hello, Sarah.
Hey, everyone.
And again, we want to thank you so much for spending your time. This is going to be a great piece of content because a lot of people are interested in virtual assistants. So my first question to you straight away is going to be, for the benefit of those who might not know exactly what we're talking about, what is a virtual assistant or a VA as they're known, and why would we want to consider having one?
A virtual assistant is kind of like an online secretary who helps you get small tasks done so you can move on to more important parts of your business. Because as we know, as you grow, the little stuff can overwhelm you and you can't grow yourself to the big stuff.
That's excellent. That's excellent, because a lot of people, when they come into arbitrage, they're seeing the stories of the success and they don't understand you have to actually grow into that. So I got a list of questions that we're going to get into. And hustlers out there, if I miss anything, please leave a comment. You can leave your question right in the results. I'll be monitoring, and Sarah does answer questions as well. So if we don't get you, don't worry about it. So how long have you been using a VA?
I have been using a VA for about 10 months now.
Okay. And at what point did you feel like, okay, this is getting, because you're coming up on a year. At what point in your journey did you start to feel like, okay, this is overwhelming, or you might have felt I can't grow anymore on my own? How did you come into this?
As you can tell by the 10-month, Q4 kind of pushed me there.
Okay.
That, as everybody knows, everything quadruples in Q4, and I couldn't keep a hold on everything. Some people may not know this, but I do eBay and I do Amazon. I also do Mercari, I do Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace.
That's huge.
Yeah. So to keep everything rolling, some things had to give.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Do you think, had you just stayed with one platform, do you think you would have been able to keep a handle on it? Or
no? At this point now, where I am now, I would, if I was just doing Amazon, I would be rethinking it again. Like, I need an assistant. I just don't believe you can grow unless you don't work. As you know, I work full time.
Like me.
And I have 3 kids. I don't have time.
Hey, when this is over, I may be going back to a VA. We're going to talk about my experiences at some point as well. And again, this is for the hustlers that may not really be able to fully contextualize what we're talking about here. What type of tasks do you use your VA for?
The VA's main 2 priorities is managing the eBay store, which I will say is easier than a VA managing your Amazon marketplace.
Okay.
So many people do, and I plan to, in the future, have a VA managing my Amazon marketplace when I get it to a certain level. My eBay store is good, easy to run, and many VAs are experienced in running those. But the other important thing she does for me as far as Amazon is she does my sourcing. She uses tactical arbitrage.
Wow, that's huge.
You know how people buy leads lists? Yeah. She has every morning my leads list for me ready.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge, because you can spend a lot of time using that software. The time is in sifting through the results and determining whether it's something that you can make a profit on. When you say manage, using a VA to manage your eBay store, manage your Amazon store, can you unpack that a little bit? When you just say manage, that's kind of general. Are there any specific things you can tell us?
Sure. The biggest thing she does for me is putting up new listings. I take a picture of everything that we're listing, or if there's a stock photo of something, she writes up the listing, prices it. She does pricing research, make sure the shipping is correct. If there's customer questions, she answers that. I run promotions and sales on the eBay store, so she manages all promotions and sales.
Wow. So it sounds like it can be individual depending on whatever your tasks are, or what you deem a priority, or what you just don't want to do and you outsource. So what I might use it for, a VA, and what you might use one for could be different. Just
exactly. It's kind of like, do you like to do the dishes or do you like to vacuum?
Great analogy. Yeah. Here's one that might be a little sensitive, because when you talk about VAs, let's not forget, you can source, you can find a VA locally in your own country, city, whatever. You can go to India. I have used Indian, and I've also used Bangladesh. What can you tell us about your experience there?
I am purposely using a VA from the Philippines because their culture is the closest to the American culture. And as a woman, I feel that they would give me the most respect. Not everybody can handle a girl boss. So that's a consideration. If I was a man, I would have no problem doing India or the Middle East.
Okay.
But as a woman, I will say my VA is a female. Okay. And as I plan to add, I will probably stay with females.
That's interesting.
That's a personal preference, and I don't have the employment laws. If I said that in the US, would be a problem.
That is very, very good information. Hustlers, take note of that. I didn't think, that is not what I was expecting us to kind of delve into, but that's very important to consider. How much would we walk into this expecting to pay? Now, for myself, I've dealt with companies where you can buy a package of hours. I've dealt with individuals where we kind of hashed it out. What would one of our new hustlers expect a fair price to be?
Well, the first thing you need to know, in order to get on the Philippines listings, you have to pay a one-time fee to their website to be able to message back and forth.
And we're going to put that website in the link.
Yes, onlineph.com.
Okay.
And it's $69 for 1 month of access, but that is all you need. Once you find your VA, you can cancel, because after that, they still let you use the website for accounting and timekeeping. And they have a great thing where the VA can put in their hours, and it also takes screenshots of their work. So you can make sure they were doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
So you can see a progression of their day, that they're on the websites, they're on tactical arbitrage, they're doing what they're supposed to do. So you can feel comfortable they're not slacking.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you've worked with some that are kind of familiar with the eBay platform or what have you. And that kind of leads me to my next question. How long would I need to spend? You can't tell, but how long would you spend to train your VA? Because that's important. How long until this person understands what you want and now they're actually being productive, as opposed to the time involved just to teach them?
Well, that is the thing. When I put up the ad, I specifically looked for someone with eBay skills. So I brought her on, but I did have to teach her sourcing for Amazon. She knew nothing about Amazon. So everything had to be taught, and I did that through videos. I screened videos of myself sourcing, videos of myself using tactical arbitrage, showing how I made different decisions on items, why to keep a chart. That's hard to teach someone, but it's so important. Looking at the keep a chart when you're sourcing, is this a good item?
Okay. And just in case I missed it, did you have a How long did that take approximately?
Once I show a video, they really are on it within 1 or 2 days. The video is so important on the training. Plus, I'm having documents that also give them tips. Like I have kind of a master criteria document.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to be very specific and just repetitive in the video over and over. We're sourcing, just showing why I'm making the decision so you can catch the pattern. That's really, it's catching the pattern of why is this a good deal? Why is this a bad deal?
Okay. And I remember, and I can also chime in a little bit on that. The videos are huge. When you can do a screen share, they're quick because now they actually see what you're doing instead of you trying to explain and hope that they can actually comprehend what you want. If you show them, then they can actually, essentially they're over your shoulder. And so then they know what you want. An interesting question is how to trust a VA. I think that is probably one of the biggest hurdles. Anyone who's never outsourced before, a big hurdle is, how do I trust this person with my sensitive data, my baby, what can you tell us about how do you trust a VA?
First off, you have to set yourself up to be cautious. My VA does not have any password. We use a site called LastPass. Logs onto it. She clicks on the icon and it auto logs her into whatever site she needs to be logged into. So she does not know my eBay password. She does not know my tactical arbitrage password. She is just clicking on links that autofill for her.
Wow. What did you say the name of this you're using?
LastPass. And I'll email you that so you can put that in the notes as well.
This is amazing.
Right. And even if I have her make purchases, which I did move on to having her make a few purchases for me, again, it's the same thing. She logs, say she's making it from Walmart, she logs onto Walmart. She can use the saved credit card, but of course with Walmart, you can't even see your credit card.
Right.
And the shipping address is my shipping address. And let's be honest, I don't think Walmart ships to the Philippines.
Right. So. That's pretty good. So you have her sourcing and she'll make purchases for you as well.
Yeah, occasionally she will make purchases on some things that we have really defined, like replenishables.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said Walmart. There's some things I get from Walmart. So she sees when the inventory is low. Though I don't give her access to my Amazon account at this time, I do give her access to Be Cool. Because it helps me setting my minimum and maximum prices in there so she can see when something's out of stock.
Okay. Now we got another question. Well, before we get into that, how many VAs have you had? Like, in other words, how long did it take you to find the right one?
I'll be honest, she was my first one.
Oh, wow.
And what I will say is I chose her because she reminded me of my teenagers, the way she answered me. I was like, well, I can deal with that.
Okay.
Somebody might have said she's a little smart mouth, but I'm like, yeah, she knows how to talk to me. And then I did pay her a little more than they were suggesting.
Okay.
To help her know I'm new, I'm making a lot of mistakes too, but I'm serious about this.
Okay.
So I need you to be serious. And I think that was a really good decision because she stuck with me through some boo-boos.
Okay.
There's sometimes she's like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. So she has stuck through some things, and she has absolutely earned her place. She is such a hard worker. She tries to help the business.
Yes.
I find her very honest. I've just been so pleased with the process. I do plan to add another VA. That is in my thoughts in the next couple months. I've let her know that so she's not worried about her job. I'm like, we're going to be adding someone.
Right.
And what do you want to do? Because obviously it's getting to the point she can't do everything. So I am giving her a choice of what do you feel more comfortable with.
I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of these VAs, they're really part of your business family and they can grow with you and they want the work. They work very hard uh, to make themselves valuable. So that's a good thing. So just one more thing though, because again, price is so important. When I was using VAs, I have paid as low as $3 an hour. I've paid as much as $7 an hour. And the work wasn't necessarily better or worse along that scale. You know, there's a couple things I wanted you to unpack, like for a guy that's walking into this, that's what's going through their heads. How much am I going to pay this VA an hour? Would you be able to expound on that?
Right. They say between $2 to $4 an hour is appropriate. I would say, do you want that $2 person? Think about yourself. If someone pays you the lowest rate there is if you're being paid minimum wage, are you a great employee? No.
No.
Also give them a set pay, even though it says I'm paying them hourly. I'm like, no, you get paid this much every week. You're gonna get paid this amount every week, because not every week do I have a ton of stuff for you. And just because I don't have a ton of stuff for you doesn't mean you're going to be short this week. So as long as you're doing what you need to do, you get paid this every week.
Okay. Before we get to our final question, which I think is very, very good, I'm going to ask you, when would our hustlers know that they're ready? But before we get into that, I want to just bounce a couple of things off of you based on my experience with VAs. And I want to see what you have to say. I don't necessarily want to call them pitfalls, but I will say this, depending on who you're working with, you have to watch your VA because they're just working. And once you teach them how to do something, if you're not clear, if you haven't set, a system, boundaries, and it's not clear, they will just work and work and work. For example, you may buy, say, for example, your hours in a packet, and they will burn through those hours. So you got to watch them. And you need a system where, hey, you don't keep working until you know that I'm satisfied with what's being done. What can you say about that? That was my experience on a couple of occasions.
And I can understand that. You have to start slow with the task and review everything. That you can't expect the first few weeks that you're going to be able to walk away and have a relief from your business. It's going to take time. You have to look at what they're doing, shadow them, correct them nicely. Yes. That's very important. They're a professional, so speak to them like a professional. One thing also, though people in the Philippines speak English, they prefer to communicate with Skype because it's just clearer with, accents, just like here, just to make sure everybody understands what's going on and there wasn't a misunderstanding because one of your accents got into the play. Okay.
So yeah, I'm glad you were able to give that. So now we're going to hit you with that final question for our hustlers out there. So listen up, working class hustlers. The question is, when do you know that you're ready to bring on a VA? Because it's a big consideration. What would you say about that, Sarah?
When you're losing sleep at night, trying to get everything done. Because to be honest, as I said, I'm coming home after work and then I'm working. I call this my second job.
It is.
But at some point I have to be awake for the first job. So if your first job is slipping, I would say absolutely consider. And you can hire someone part-time. You don't need to go the full-time. There's a lot of VAs who take on part-time work, and that can be just enough to save your sanity.
Wow. This has been a wonderful, informative interview. And on behalf of the working class hustlers of America and all across the globe, I want to thank Ms. Sarah Mack for her information. Maybe we'll do it again sometimes. But I'm really looking forward, hustlers. If you have anything to add, maybe you've used the VA, we want to know your experiences, both good, bad, or whatever it may be. If we didn't answer a specific question, we want that question. Okay, so make sure you engage. This is for your benefit. I cannot thank you, Sarah, enough. And As always, guys, take advantage of all of your resources down in the description. We've got all sorts of things out there for your benefit. Look at all of them. Sarah mentioned tactical arbitrage. We have a complete series on that. We've got the lightning series for that. Sarah mentioned things like, what is that VA doing? That VA is learning to evaluate. We have a couple of videos that teach you my 7 steps to evaluating. And one more thing, Sarah, this I think is very, very important. I really want you to unpack this for the hustlers, because on that last question, how to know when you're ready, what we didn't think about is at the point where you're losing sleep, at that point, you really know your business. You can't expect to bring someone on, train them when you haven't mastered your own business.
Absolutely.
Make sure you know what you're doing. And this is important because a lot of you want to hit the fast track. You hear these people talking about how much money they're making, and you're saying, you're watching these videos that talk about, you shouldn't be doing that kind of work, and you should be working on your business instead of in your business. First, you got to know how to work in your business. Can you add anything to that?
Absolutely. You cannot expect that virtual assistant to do anything that you yourself do not know how to do. So any task that you can't fully demonstrate for them, do not expect them to do it. Don't ask them to go off and learn something on their own. Though I will say she did watch your tactical arbitrage videos.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help. But guys, hustlers, that takes time. You're not gonna get out here and just start hiring, like manpower, and you haven't even put the work in. You have to be ready. So on that note, once again, I want to thank the lovely Miss Sarah Mack, and I will see you guys in the next video.